Hello, Jordan.
What's up, Michael?
Jordan, tell everyone about the Black Friday sale for the Fitness Business Mentorship.
We have a Black Friday sale. BLACKFRIDAY sale. Black Friday sale for the Fitness Business Mentorship. This is the lowest the price will ever be. This is how this works. This is the lowest the price will ever be because, and we'll give you some insight. One time a year, we run a sale like this. And then another time a year, we increase the price. And so when we're running this sale, this percentage discount off, this is the lowest the price will ever be before we raise the price later on in 2025. So if you want to get in, if you want to build your online fitness business, if you want to be around an amazing community of coaches who want to become better coaches, who want to understand client psychology, client motivation, program design, social media, nutrition coaching, everything that you need, creating your own systems, understanding how to build your business from the back end, from the ground up, whether you've literally never coached before all the way up to you've been coaching for 10 years plus. If you want to build your online fitness business so you can help people all over the world, so you can support your own family, support your own community, so you can work from wherever you want and live a balanced, healthy life as a coach and as a business owner, this is the best chance you're going to get. And for whatever it's worth, if you don't join, that's fine. Like, there are other groups out there. Frankly, I think they're all way more expensive than ours. And also, frankly, I think that they aren't nearly as good as ours, just like from what I've seen of them. Ours is currently on the lower end of cost and higher end of what you actually get out of it. So if you don't join, that's fine. But just know the price will only go up from here on out. And that's how we've done this for the last several years. So we would love to have you in there. Black Friday sale, BLACKFRIDAY. Black Friday is how you spell it. The sale coming up.
Very well said. And the way to apply to join at the sale price is to go to fitnessbusinessmentorship.com, and you'll see right there on the homepage there's an apply now button. You can apply. The sale isn't going to go live until probably the third week of November. So, anytime in that November 12th and on frame, you can apply to join. Let us know in the application that you're interested in the Black Friday discounted pricing, and we will see if you're a good fit and go from there.
That's it.
All right. Now, we have a YouTube comment here.
Uh-oh.
A YouTube comment from Booser87. Shout out Booser. Big shout out to Booser87. We love you, Booser. In the episode where I told the story about when I threw my back out a couple episodes back, Booser said, "Hi. Why did you laugh so much at Mike's predicament?" Which I think is a wonderful question, Booster. I was also wondering why Jordan was laughing at my predicament. It's a wonderful question.
What was I laughing when you were explaining how it happened?
I think you were laughing the whole time.
I'm trying to remember when I laughed.
I would imagine it was when I told the story of being in the gym.
Oh yeah. Dude, and I'm sure you know me, but like, for Booster and for anyone else, I view things from the lens of comedy and from the lens of like in hindsight, that's hilarious. Now, keep in mind, when you told me that, like the day it happened, I wasn't laughing. Like when you told me, bro, like I threw my back out, I wasn't like, oh, that's so funny, you could barely walk. But in hindsight, thinking about it, like looking at it through the video camera footage of people in the gym just not helping you, that's just funny. Like if you saw that in a movie, that would be funny. Yeah,
Jordan's good at being empathetic in the moment. I think 3 hours later, it was a laughing matter. But in the moment, you were, yeah. I more than anything think Booster's comment is kind of funny and a good question and just good entertainment.
Because everybody loves Mike. Everybody loves.
Do you want to tell that story?
I knew that was going to send you. You tell the story.
How do I even know the story? Is this
I don't
when
know.
I think I was speaking to your mom on the phone about. No, I don't think she told me. I think you told me this story.
I think my mom told you. I don't think I told you this story.
All right. So Jordan just said a very funny but untrue thing, which is everybody loves Mike, because the actual quote from Jordan's own mother is, everybody loves Jordan. Everybody loves Jordan. Which I actually
she
think
would get mad because my teachers, basically my mom would go in to like parent teacher conferences when I was a kid, like elementary school, middle school, and the teachers would say like, hey, I know Jordan did X, Y, or Z in class. And my mom would say like, is that okay? Is he allowed to do that? And the teacher would be like, well, if it was anyone else, but, Jordan's just, he's funny, da, 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 da. And my mom would have to tell the teachers, like, you can't let him get away with this. You have to discipline him. And then that's where she would be like, everybody like, you just could always find a way to charm him.
Wasn't there something with your brother as well?
I'm sure there are many things. I don't know.
Between the two of you, like, I don't know, you would get away with stuff, and I don't remember exactly.
Not with my mom. I think my mom came down harder on me because she knew like I could get away with it more. And so I think she actually came down harder on me as a result of that. And I think that's still to this day, like she gives my brother way more rope than she gives me. Like way more. And she comes down much more hard on me. So yeah,
even
I think
at this stage.
Yeah, even now.
But that was one of Jordan's favorite little moves right there that he did, where he took a quote about him and just flipped it. Everybody loves Mike.
You hate that.
It's I would say hate might be the right word for that.
Is that tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Oh, nice. Black?
No. Well, black in color. I got a little stevia in there. I have these.
It's black.
Raspberry chocolate stevia drops. They're pretty legit.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, did you finish watching the Rogan Trump interview?
I did not. I haven't watched another minute since.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't even get a whole hour in.
No, I might just be completely burnt out on politics. Oh, by the way, this episode is launching on Election Day, I just realized.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, we're recording on October 29th. I must just be completely burnt out because, I found... look, he says it's cool that those two came together for a long-form interview. It's cool that how much... actually, Gary really predicted all of this in terms of social media being the real media, which he was saying in like 2013, borderline, like 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
But even like from 16 to 20, you would have imagined that it would have shifted more from mainstream to, or whatever you want to call it, legacy media, CNN, to the internet. And it really didn't. Only in this election cycle, I guess you would call it, are both candidates doing more, and just politicians in general are doing more long form stuff. I couldn't get into the episode. I don't know why.
Well, I think the first, like I told you, I thought the first 40 minutes was just like bleh, not good. A lot of Trump not answering the questions, because I thought Joe started off with such a great question of like, all right, you get into office, what's that like? And Trump just like, I don't know if it's deliberate or if it's just like I don't know. He calls it a weave. He loves to talk about this weave that he does, which I personally don't really like, but he just wasn't really answering the question. And Joe kept trying to bring him back to it. After 40 minutes, I thought it got like much better. Trump actually started answering the questions in a way that I haven't seen him answer questions before. And I think Joe did a really good job of being like, no, like let's discuss this. Like, let's answer this question. I thought Trump did finally, for the first time, I've seen him really answer more difficult political questions, which I thought was an interesting. And also, Joe invited Kamala on, and he was like, I hope she comes on. And Joe pushed back because Trump was like, could you imagine if she came on here? Like, it would be terrible. And Joe was like, I'm sure it would be a wonderful conversation, and I would love to have her on. So like, I thought that was very, very cool. And I don't think she's going to go on, but it would be great to have them both go on that podcast. I would also love to see a debate in a podcast format where it's like they just are there and There's no silencing of the mics, and
Less
it's just you
structured.
sit across from the table, and there's no media bias. It's just let's just let you go, and then maybe Jamie does the fact checking. Like maybe Jamie on is like he's showing the fact checks. Like he doesn't interrupting them. You don't interrupt, but like you just put on the screen some like the actual data. I don't know, but I thought that was really good. And then you see Bezos, owner of Washington Post. He actually I think he made a great move. For the first time in potentially the entire since the 30s or something, the Washington Post is no longer endorsing any candidate. And there was another big paper as well. And Bezos came out today with a statement explaining why. For the first time in modern history, I think actually in history, what's it called? The media as a whole, whether it's newspaper, radio, like CNN, Fox, all these big news stations, for the first time in history, the public, there was a Gallup poll that showed the public trusts the media less than it trusts Congress. And
Wow.
which is for the first time ever. It's always been in the 90s, there was huge trust in the media in the 90s. And it's just gone down and down and down and down until in recent years, the second lowest was the media and the lowest was Congress. Now, for the first time ever, media has the lowest trust, even below Congress. And he made a great point. He's like, listen, a newspaper or a media outlet shouldn't have a bias of endorsing an individual candidate. Our job should be just to factually report the truth. No bias. None of that.
Bezos said this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was, I was like, you can't really argue with that. It's like the news should not have a bias. It should have just facts. Just like fitness shouldn't have a bias. It should just, this is the fact. Like these are the facts of it, regardless of who's saying it. Right. And so I thought that was, and it was because I was looking at the comments, just trying to see what the general public opinion is. And it seemed like most people, even people who were because Washington Post has literally every single time endorsed a Democrat candidate, even those who tend to vote Democrat were saying, listen, I'm voting Democrat, but I appreciate this. I think that's a good take that a newspaper or a media shouldn't have a declared bias of who we're supporting in this election. I thought that was really well done.
The Washington Post has never endorsed a Republican presidential candidate?
I don't believe so. Don't quote me on that, but from what I read this morning, I'm pretty sure it's literally only endorsed Democrats.
Yeah. I guess it's so par for the course at this point for me to not think that there's any objectivity in reporting, basically at all anymore, especially legacy media. But even with most, Twitter reporters, or I don't know what you want to call it, these people who are writing on, what's it called? What's that platform that popped up in the last couple of years where these independent writers are getting paid?
Medium?
No. More recent than that. It's where, the Twitter files and all that were getting dropped.
Oh, WikiLeaks? Is that what it was? Or no? I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm not that interested though. Yeah, cool that that idea was getting support from both sides.
Yeah, it was a lot of bipartisan unity on that, which I liked.
Nice. Yeah, I'll give the Rogan Trump another go. We'll see. Maybe during my workout in the next couple of days here.
What else we got, brother?
Did you wake up at 6 a.m. today?
Nope. We did not. My wife and I told Mike last night, we're like, yeah, we're going to wake up at 6 in the morning. All right, we're going to do it. And
not just randomly, you guys had been wanting to wake up a little bit earlier?
Yeah, so it's been difficult to get our workouts in the middle of the day, because it's difficult to sync up both of the girls' naps. And so sometimes it can be challenging. If we don't get the workout in early in the morning, it's difficult to get it in at all. And so we were like, let's get up early. And you and I did that thing yesterday where we were like, hey, what's your ideal day? And we literally spent 45 minutes talking about what an ideal day might look like. And for me, it's starting earlier. And so we decided yesterday we're going to get up at 6. And then the alarm went off at 6. And my my wife was like, do you want to get up? And I was like, nope. No, I don't.
What time did you fall asleep?
Oh, we went to bed late. Went to bed later than we decided we'd be in bed by 10, and we didn't fall asleep until 11:30. Like we weren't even in bed until like 11:15. So it's tough, dude. It's like, and like we can do it, but getting both girls down, cleaning the house back up, like getting everything done, like I mean, we'll say like, I guess from the time they wake up from their naps, which is around like 4. So from like 4 until 8:30 is insanity. And then once they're down, then it's like, okay, now we've got to like get all this up, like get the house cleaned up, get everything put that. So that's until like at least 9:30 or 10, getting Curtis out, getting everything cleaned up, getting everything ready for the next day. And then it's like, oh, now we've got to get ready for bed. It's just like, yeah, we've got to get a better system for sure. We can do a better system. And I think that it starts with getting the girls to bed earlier. But yeah,
but
long story short.
Then do they end up waking up earlier too?
Yeah, of course.
What time do they wake up now?
If they're in bed by 8:30, like both girls will sleep 12 hours now, which is pretty crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. The hard part is with the youngest one, with the newborn, she sleeps 12 hours at night, but her naps in the day are terrible. Like she's really not taking many naps at all. So it's basically constant with her. And then when our oldest is up, that's just wild times. It's just, she's everywhere and anywhere. And her and Curtis together are just they're like the Taliban. They're just running all over the place. They're just terrorists. Yeah, it's bad. They're a really bad duo.
Well, I applaud you guys for even making the effort for the 6 a.m. What time did you end up waking up?
Us. We didn't make a hard effort. Well, but this morning when we finally got up, we got up at 7:30.
Is there any way to trim 8:15 to 10? Seems like a really long like clean up and wind down process. Is there any way to like expedite that?
Yeah. So, well, the issue is the part of it is feeding my infant because she's not really even down by 8:30.
Oh, okay.
So like oldest is down, infant will probably not even because she takes so long to feed. The feeds are really difficult. Like the feeding with her has been really, really difficult lately. And so one feed will take like an hour and then sometimes she'll spit up like half the bottle and then we've got to sort of start all over again and go nice and slow and make sure she's burping at intervals. So like one of us will be cleaning, get everything ready, and the other one will be feeding and finishing that feed, then getting Curtis out, and then, showering, getting all that done. So, and then we try and have some time for ourselves where we can talk and catch up on the day and all of that. So it's...
Well, maybe because you started with not a 6 a.m. wake up. On your ideal day, you're like, my ideal wake up time. You're like, is it an ideal day? Okay, an ideal day, 4 a.m. wake up.
Yeah, that's an ideal wake up for me.
It sounds like with a 2-year-old and a few month old, you're not waking up at 4 a.m. Like it's cool to have that idea as an ideal, but this isn't real. Like of all the times in your life, this doesn't seem like the time.
Correct. And I think I could, but I would like... I always talk about how that quote Cressy said to me, which is like out of sleep, fitness, health, friends, family, and business, out of those things, it's like you can only choose one or two of them at a time. Mm-hmm. So if I sacrificed that sleep, then I would also end up sacrificing something else. So I would end up probably sacrificing like business quality. I'd be too tired to be making content or answering DMs. There would be something else that'd be sacrificed from getting up that early. And maybe we would be more consistent with our workouts, which we are still consistent. We literally want to do it every day. Like we want to be up super early every day, just get it in before the girls are up. So yeah, at this point in life, it's probably just not going to happen right now.
We also just have sleep requirements as humans. And if you're sleeping 11 to 4 every night, if Jordan needs at least 7 hours to function on a reasonable level on average, and you're getting 5 per night, you're only going to be able to do that so many nights before something gives on the other end.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
What time did you get up?
I slept in today. It was...
oh, yeah, you did.
Gary has 1 day a week, often where we're not working out in the morning, and that day was today. And so I stayed up, watched Monday Night Football, hung out, and didn't go to bed till late.
Nice.
Actually, barely even. That's not even true. I had Monday Night Football on, and it was the Steelers versus the Giants. I was like, this is not a good Monday Night Football game at all. So my wife and I we alternate shows, and the last show was Game of Thrones, which was my pick, obviously. And so now we're watching Gossip Girl. I don't know if you're familiar with that at all, but that's what was being watched last night in my house.
I mean, I'm familiar in that I've heard of it. I've never watched an episode. Do you enjoy it?
I don't absolutely hate it. Like
Okay.
I'd put it at a 5 out of 10. There's enough entertaining things about it. A lot of shows that pretend to be shot in New York City aren't actually in New York City. This one's actually shot in New York City. So like every scene, I'm trying to guess exactly what street, like what corner, what intersection. It's like a One Tree Hill, like teeny bopper, gossipy kind of show. The difference in like character analysis is always interesting to me in a lot of fiction. And so watching the, 3 or 4 male and 3 or 4 female protagonistic type characters like interact is interesting.
Okay.
I'm not recommending it by any means. It's like a turn your brain off and lay there for 40 minutes kind of show.
Did you keep watching Love is Blind?
No, dude. I was so mad that they didn't send that. All right, so let's give the background here. Last season of Love is Blind, Jordan was, and I think I had watched a little bit prior to last season. They're on like the 7th season, something
They're
like
on
that.
a late season, yeah.
But last season, you and your wife watched, and you told me, you're like, you got to watch this show.
No, I didn't. I did not say that.
Yes, you did.
I said you have to watch this show.
Yeah, you were telling me about
Oh, you know what?
the girl
I remember
in the pods who, yeah.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, because there's some crazy stuff last season. I was like, I can't believe that she said she looks like Megan Fox.
Yeah.
And I
reunion.
can't believe what was it was AD and Clay. Some of the stuff Clay was saying was just like absolutely wildly stupid. I was, bro, you've got to watch this. This is incredible. Yeah, you're right.
And then at the end of the season, you were like, I'm never watching that show again. Like,
Oh yeah, the reunion was the worst. It was the worst thing I've seen in my entire life.
and so this season comes out, and you're like, I'm not watching, but you ended up watching.
Because my wife made me. But yeah,
And
I didn't want to, but I was like, yeah, okay, I'll watch.
and so I also watched the first few episodes, and when the most entertaining character on the entire show, I don't want to set. Are we not? Like, is this a spoiler
No,
thing?
it's a spoiler. We're going to spoil it right now. So if you don't want to have Love is Blind spoiled, but this is literally like the worst season ever. And
there was one shining light of entertainment, which would have been those two, which
Yeah.
is a girl who was very clearly choosing this dude because he kept saying how much money he has, and a dude who was about to like strike it good with a girl who's significantly better looking than him, and then watching them on this like romantic getaway would have been some of the best TV of all time. And the producers cut them for some unknown reason.
yeah, it made no sense. Leo was really, dude, from the very first episode, it was so funny because he just kept saying, I just don't want someone to want me because of my money. And he's literally in the one situation in life, the only situation in life where someone can literally not even know what you look like. You get to fully decide what they know about you. And he just keeps telling everybody how much money he has and how lucky he is to have inherited so much money and how he'll never have to worry about money again. And it was
Which actually, while it was happening, was so good and entertaining on one hand, but on the other hand, made me sad because that's like it's a compensatory move that's just probably comes natural to him.
It's probably how he's been able to like make friends where it's like, well, let me buy you things and let me like use this to get involved within the group. And it's probably just a habit for him, which is it's really sad. It's really, really sad. But also at the same time, it's one of his greatest insecurities, but he's having difficulty not falling into that trap because that's how he's always entered into something before. So like that's his standard entrance.
Bro, the like 3 to 5 minutes after they met in person and they were sitting on that couch and he like had his jacket over her and he like kept going for a makeout. And we would have gotten multiple episodes of that. And the producers take these 5 couples who are all kind of boring, respectfully, like you just said, it was the worst season of the show that's ever been, kept them, and then cut this other couple, which has never been done in the history of the show. Made no sense whatsoever.
Yeah. So we're done with Love is Blind forever. We're done.
You thought this would, when you found out yesterday that I haven't been sick in 2.5 years, you thought this would make entertaining podcast content. I feel like I may have already talked about this on here.
I think that you should put this behind a paywall and put
Maybe
this
I
in the
will.
mentorship, make a course on how to literally never get sick. Biohacking.
It doesn't fit it doesn't jive with the mentorship, because part of the way to never get sick is letting your foot off the gas with work and stress very often. Like when you feel illness coming on, which flies in the face of building an online fitness business. And it has absolutely nothing to do with the fitness business mentorship. So it wouldn't be a course there. We don't have to pot about it. You had thought it'd be interesting.
Yeah, let's do it. I want to hear how you don't get sick. What's like your top 3, aside from taking your foot off the gas from work? What are some other things you do to prevent yourself from getting sick?
That is the biggest one is balance of the autonomic nervous system. So your sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, and you can think about work as a stressor, as one of many stressors. And caffeine is another example of a stressor. I don't use nicotine, but I've seen this in other people, like a lot of Zins, a lot of, nicotine usage. Basically, anything that is a stressor, balanced with anything that is relaxes you in nature. So sleep being a big one, rest, recovery, massage, like things of that nature. Balancing those, especially when you feel like you're about to get sick, like, a day before you're like, okay, I got a scratchy throat. Like I feel something coming on. I don't feel right. I don't feel myself. Working out being a stressor. So you feel that way. And then I'm just going to push on with my normal day to day. So you have your 350 milligrams of caffeine you normally have. You have your heavy strength training session you normally have where you increase the weight on 3 of your exercises. You still do your hard work session. You have like some event in the evening where you're socializing and like you still live your exact normal life. Boom. The next day you're like, oh crap, I have influenza A and I'm knocked out for a week or whatever it is, 5 days. Anytime I have felt, and by the way, this was me for my entire life, was I just didn't pay attention at all. And then I would wait until I got so sick that I had to be on the couch for 4 or 5 days. Anytime I feel that feeling of, I know I'm about to get sick, I'm drastically reducing my workload in strength training. I'm reducing my caffeine intake. I'm increasing water. I'm superdosing vitamin C. I'm like, if I have I rarely have this, but if I had like a 2 or 3 hour event in the evening where I'd have to be shaking hands and interacting and like using energy, I'd cancel that thing. I'd just chill for a day. That's literally what I've done. And there are other little minor things, washing hands way more often than I used to. So when
interesting.
And this isn't, because some people go real hypochondriac, real like OCD, germaphobe. I want to contain myself to my house. I don't want to interact with other people. I don't want to be in public spaces. I want to like mask up everywhere I go. Like you'll see this with, fringe, and maybe that's even bordering on mental health stuff, but you'll see some of that. I like exposure to, and by the way, this is all non-scientific and completely like, this is
anecdote.
This is anecdote. This is out of my wheelhouse area of expertise. This is just me riffing, but this is also me legitimately not getting sick and going on 3 years and being interested by these changes I made. I think germ exposure is really good. I think that gives your immune system an opportunity to recognize these pathogens and know how to deal with them. I literally I'm a much bigger believer in doing these things to optimize how your body's functioning so that you can fight whatever these potential infections are than trying to avoid the germs that are going to make you sick. It's almost like a anti-fragile versus fragile mindset.
100%. There's no question about that. I think you missed one of the biggest ones, though.
Hang on, I wrote a few down. I'll just riff these. Supplementing vitamin D regularly. I got this thing where I'm taking a few years ago, at least, maybe even more. But I shower in the evening now. I was always kind of a morning shower guy, but I shower in the evening and get like, now I'm way, I don't know what I'm talking about, but this is just how I feel, and it's actually worked. If I have excess mucus, or even if I don't, I'm getting it out during a steam shower. And so I'm taking Huck and Loogies constantly. And I have a thesis that having clear nasal pathways literally helps not let these, whatever it is in there that might be resting in there, germs that are resting in there for 3, 4, 5 days, you end up getting sick because they've been sitting there for so long. If I'm getting them out on a regular basis, that's helping.
Interesting.
The steam shower is a real play. Yeah. Washing hands often and like not being conscious about touching my face if I am out and about and haven't washed my hands.
Oh, interesting.
And then the stress relaxation management, which I think is by far the biggest one here.
I think there's one that you didn't mention.
Okay, let's hear it.
You don't drink alcohol.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Bro.
But I don't, here's why, yes, and I want to hear you talk about it. I don't do that because I think it's a strategy to not get sick. I just don't want to.
You don't like how you feel.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the whole alcohol thing.
But I feel like, when did you really stop drinking alcohol very much?
2017.
2017. So like you reduced it dramatically in 2017.
I didn't drink for a long time.
Yeah. And then you brought it back a little bit, right? Like you would allow yourself to drink. And then probably within the last 4 or 5 years is really when maybe you drink a couple times a year.
Yeah.
At this point.
That's accurate.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a major thing. I think it's a major part of it for sure.
Why do you think that? Like the poor sleep quality, reduced immunity from getting drunk.
Yeah. So, I mean, without question, the poor sleep quality, without question, the immunity aspect, especially when it's alcohol in excess, which is how most people inappropriately, they drink alcohol inappropriately, right? And there are some people who think any amount of alcohol is inappropriate. I disagree with that. I think there is an appropriate amount that can actually have some potential health benefits. But the way that you were drinking, and I think the way that most, especially young people drink, but old people too, is not done from a health perspective. It's done from I want to drink to get drunk. Mm-hmm. That's why they're drinking. They're not drinking because they're like, yes, like I love like the flavonoids, and I love they're drinking because they want to get drunk in a social setting usually. Mm-hmm. And with that type of drinking, there's no health benefit, and it hurts your sleep, it hurts your immunity, it hurts everything. Mm-hmm. The healthy and appropriate style of drinking is not done to get drunk. That's not why. And really, if you're drinking in a healthy way, you're probably not getting drunk. Realistically, mm-hmm. You might feel it a little bit depending on what you're drinking, but like a healthy style of drinking is not one where you're getting to the point of intoxication.
And when you say alcohol can actually improve your health, you're talking more about community, socialization, like your mental health, even longevity associated with.
Even I think I think there's some potential health benefits to a small amount of alcohol that reduces stress. And this is going to be a controversial thing to say. I even think that a small amount done in a way, like even if you're not in a social setting, but I do think that like it drinking in a social setting is really wonderful. It can bring you together. You can have a common interest in whatever it is you're drinking. But even just a small amount of alcohol, again, not to the point of intoxication, but to the point of it's like it actually can improve sleep quality. It can reduce stress with a very small amount of alcohol. I think there is health benefits to that.
I agree with you on the stress reduction. And I've seen that in many individuals who have it as almost like a ritual, like a 6 p.m. beer every single day. It's just one beer, and they're not having multiple ever. And it's part of their routine, and it helps them wind down at night, or one glass of wine kind of in the early evening. Like, that makes sense to me. I want to make sure you weren't saying like the grapes and the wine are going to like prevent heart disease and prevent cancer, because that has been argued by big alcohol over the decades.
That was the major thing that we grew up with, which is like, oh, the antioxidants and all. It's like, that's like, no, if you want antioxidants, have some fucking blueberries. Like, you don't need to get it in your wine. That's a joke. But yeah, I do think that the mild stress reduction wind down of a very small amount can actually be helpful for some people.
Yeah, for the people who, I don't even want to call it drug of choice, but like for the people who feel benefit from doing that.
Correct. And don't have alcoholic tendencies.
Of course.
Yeah. Of course, yes.
Well, yeah. Oh, you're an alcoholic? Here, have a half glass of wine. Yeah, this is really going to help you. Yeah. So that's what I have on not getting sick.
I like that. The mucus one is an interesting one. I want to dive into that one more. You know, sort of, it's like the opposite side of pooping, right? You don't keep your poop in there. Why do you keep it's like mucus is like your nose poop, if you really think about it.
Yeah, it's a great point. And I think there are some benefits to having some in there, but clearing it and regenerating on a regular basis. Look, the proof is in the pudding. I've never I used to get sick every 6 to 8 weeks. I would get like a cold and I would need a couple of days, and I haven't gotten sick in 2.5 years. So something's happening over here. All right. We got a question from Shane in the mentorship, who actually said this might be fun for you guys to talk about on the podcast. And so he said how we, as in Mike and Jordan, how we would become personal trainers today, what to focus on / your strategies / how you would use the technology available today, etc.
I like that. To be honest, I would do the exact same thing. Like starting off with getting an internship. Well, so here's what we have to say is, do I have to do it at this age with my current life situation?
No,
like wife, kids, dog?
No. Do it with like making you, Jordan, vague, but then we're in 2024 going on 2025, everything that's going on in the world instead of 2011.
There are still amazing in-person facilities. There are amazing in-person facilities all over not only the country, but the world. There are extraordinary in-person training facilities, and I would go and I'd try and get an internship. I'd try and work there. And like starting off, if I was young, I'd do it for free. If I was a little bit older, I'd try and get a paid job, and I'd work there and I'd learn from the coaches.
I have a list that I made. I want to let you answer this question in its entirety because I want to see how close we are, because that was my number one also.
Yeah. Number one, go get an internship and work at an amazing in-person gym. That's where you're going to learn the most without question. And there are great ones. So, I mean, like obviously bias, I would say Cressy Sports Performance. That's one of the ones that I went to. Westside Barbell has some internships as well. Those are both internships that I had. You know who else I would really recommend is someone like, it's so bad that I don't know. I'm forgetting his actual name, but Knees Over Toes guy is a really wonderful guy to learn from. I would spend time studying his work. I think he's changed the industry for the better. Looking at someone like Alex Viata, I think is a great person to learn from.
Yep.
Seeing if he has internships with his program. I know he's not in person, but online would be wonderful. Those are all like I would find an internship and learn from some of the greatest coaches in the world. Then I would, then from there, I would invest in books and I would read some really amazing books. And, we've spoken about this ad nauseum, so I'm not going to go in excruciating detail on that here, but starting strength and practical programming are really great starting points for it. And then spending time reading Alan Aragon's website, getting his research review, Lyle McDonald's website, Martin Birkin's website. Again, those are the places that I would really start. Who else is also great? I would look at Mike Israetel, has a lot of great information, free information on his YouTube. He would be another great person to get free information from. I think he might have a facility. I don't know if that's accurate or not, so don't take my word for it. But another great person to potentially get an internship with. And then from there, I would start coaching people for free. I'd start coaching them for free, both in person and online. I would start doing online earlier than I did. When I first started, I only did in person, but I would start if I had I would take my cousins and I'd be like, hey, I'm going to write you a program. And I'm going to send you the program. I want you to send me videos. It's so much easier nowadays than it was back then. They've got apps you can use. You can send pictures and videos through your phone. I started doing this before I had a smartphone. So it's I would start doing that now. I'd be like, hey, here's your program. Do this program. Sending them voice memos, sending them videos. I would start building my systems. I would start coaching people and understanding how this works, doing it for free. And then I would start, once I built up enough of a list of testimonials and enough of my systems, then I would start charging people. And all the while I would be posting on social media. And on social media, I would probably pick one platform, whether it's Instagram or whether it's YouTube or whether it's TikTok, whatever it is, I'd pick one platform. And I would start posting about, number one, what I'm learning about as an up and coming coach, and making sure people know that I'm learning, I'm a student, I'm not presenting myself as an expert, and also sharing your journey. I would share your journey as a lifter and as someone who's interested in their health. Share your journey with your progress in your deadlifts and in your squats, in your bench press, in your push-ups, in your splits, in your mile time. Share your journey with whatever you're doing. I would encourage you to compete in something. Compete in a 5K, compete in a powerlifting competition, compete in an Olympic lifting competition, not because you want to be the best in the world, but because competing alone will make you better. When you decide to compete and you have a date, okay, on this day I have to be the best I can possibly be, you're going to take your training more seriously and it will have more purpose than it's ever had before. And it doesn't have to be a lifting thing. You could compete in a rock climbing competition. They have speed rock climbing competitions. Compete in that. Compete in a hiking or a rucking competition. They literally nowadays have fitness competitions. They have high rocks. They have CrossFit. Compete in one of these fucking things. Do a local event. Compete. When you have a day of competition, you will train in a way you've never trained before, and you will learn how to train in a way that you wouldn't learn otherwise. And you'll start reading more and you'll start experiencing more. So compete in something and document that journey. And through that, you'll end up getting more clients and just building from there. That's literally what I would do.
I love it. You said one social media platform. Which one would you select?
My bias is Instagram, but it could be Instagram. If I could pick, it would either be Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube. Those would be my three options. That would be what I would. Yeah, those would be my three choices.
Great answer. We're very similar here. So my number one was get a job training clients in person at a gym / become the best coach that I possibly could. And that kind of goes with number two, which is, remember when Gary would talk about get close to the sun, get as close to the sun as you can? That's about who you're getting your internship with or who you're getting your job with. It's not potentially, it's way better for you to get an unpaid internship with somebody who's very smart and very proficient and potentially someone who is a bigger name in the industry, though not necessarily. Being super competent is most important, but getting close to them is going to have them rub off on you, and doing whatever you can to get close to that person and learn from them is going to benefit you massively. Gary talked about D-Rock making content for him, making videos for him for free before he even got a job as an opportunity to work for Gary. You interned for free. I interned for free. Like your time and service and hard work and effort is a huge asset that can put you in a position to, one, meet certain people, but two, more importantly, is learn from those people. And so that's number one. On the social media front, I said 2 platforms, and with a hyper focus, and this is something I would do differently than optimal strategy in 2013, for example, is I would pick 2 platforms and I would hyper focus on quality. I would make the best possible content I could. I say 2 because I would want one of them to be easier. And I would probably go with a Twitter YouTube combination or an Instagram YouTube combination. I think
Twitter's a good one.
Twitter's a good one. Twitter's especially a good one if you are planning on working with men primarily. If you're planning on working with women primarily, then Instagram is far superior to Twitter. Even if like your style of content, maybe like content creation slightly favors Twitter. But we've talked a lot about picking one long form, one short form platform in 2024 going into 2025. Twitter/Instagram and YouTube would be the 2 I would select. And I mean hyper focus on quality. Like at this point, I would rather spend a month making an incredible YouTube video with a well-researched title and that SEOs tremendously with an awesome thumbnail and like the right words on the thumbnail one time a month than I would doing a daily like 5-minute vlog, because it's that long tail search that is going to help you get new eyeballs on your video that just isn't going to happen with a one take 5 to 10 minute video on YouTube these days, or not nearly as effectively. I would text every single person that I've ever met, basically. I would text every person who I have their phone number, and I would ask them to follow me on the one platform I was most focused on. So if I had 0 followers, if I wasn't converting a personal account to business, which we do recommend doing, but it's hard to go from 0 to 100. Like it's probably harder to go from 0 to 100 or 0 to 1,000, let's say, than it is to go from 1,000 to 10,000. And so, and doing that by reaching new audience. And so what I would do is I would not copy paste text. I would write a brand new text to every single person who I've ever met and ask them to follow me on that platform. What
else would you include in that text? Aside from just an ask, what else would you include in that text?
It's so transparent to be like, hey, long time, how are you? But I would, and then, by the way, I'm asking you to do this thing. So I don't really care how you are because we haven't talked in 6 years, but I'm asking you to do this thing. I would include some degree of personalization.
I think this is an interesting topic, and I want to hear the rest of your list. What I would, if I was going to do that, because I don't think that's a bad idea at all, I would go voice memo. Obviously, I think you'd probably go text, but like either way, what would be included is, hey, listen, I know we haven't spoken in a while. This is assuming you haven't spoken to them in 6 years. It was like, hey, listen, I have a huge favor to ask. I'm studying to be a personal trainer. I'm obsessed with helping people improve their fitness goals, whether it's fat loss or muscle gain or strength or flexibility, whatever it is. I'm obsessed with this, and I want to help as many people as I possibly can. Could you do me a favor and please just drop me a follow on this page? It would mean everything to me. And in the meantime, if there's anything I can help you with your own fitness, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm more than happy to do that, because now instead of it just being an ask, it's almost like a reciprocation, and a lot of those people will become your clients. If you have their phone number, if you have the ability to reach out to them, these are going to be the first people who will be your first clients because they trust you. So I would go above and beyond to say to that effect of like, it would mean the world to me. I'm obsessed with helping people with their fitness. I'm just starting out, and so it would mean a lot just to have your support from the beginning. And if I can help you with anything fitness related, you come to me. I'm your person. I think that would be a good way to send it.
I love that. I think that's very well said. I would get myself in the best possible shape. And that doesn't necessarily mean get as lean as humanly possible. That could mean pursuing a strength goal. That could mean, if you're focused on flexibility and mobility, being able to do the splits is like a cool eye-catching attention grab. Having muscle and being lean, obviously, if you want to help people do that, walking the walk is going to lead to more clients, all else equal. It just is. We all know, like, oh, Bill Belichick is an amazing coach, but doesn't, is he that good at football? It doesn't matter.
That's interesting. That sort of goes in line with competing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's similar. It's like, you got to fucking do it. And you don't have to win. You don't have to be the best, but you've got to do it.
I would also document doing it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So hyper focused on educational, high quality content, but I'm layering that with I'm documenting this process of what I'm doing in terms of learning to be the best personal trainer I can be, but also documenting what I'm doing to achieve the fitness goal I'm pursuing, because other people are going to want to pursue that goal too. They're going to see me do it and succeed. They're going to want my help in doing it.
There's an amazing woman. I've seen her videos on Instagram recently. She started off like significantly overweight, and like she just started showing videos of her walking on her treadmill, and over I think a couple of years she went from very overweight and just barely walking to like now she's running marathons, and she's lean and she's toned and defined. But like it's taken several years, and it's cool because the treadmill has stayed the same, the place in her room has stayed the same. The only, like, she's just the one that's changed. And it's been really cool to see that difference over time. And she didn't start off by like, hey, I'm going to be an amazing marathon runner. She just started off by like, hey, I'm going to document my journey. And her audience has blown up. And it's just been really wonderful to see that in real time. It's like, especially if you're just starting off now, you will never in your life be at this place again. It was, it was funny. Something happened with my wife yesterday. What happened? We were working out in the gym, and what was she doing? She was doing something. Oh, you know what she was doing? I took a video of her doing a plank in the gym, and then my youngest daughter was like just wrapped up in a swaddle, and I was taking videos. And then my wife was trying to do side planks, but she's still pretty soon postpartum, and the side plank with the long lever on her feet where their legs straight out was a little bit too difficult. So we adjusted it to her knees, and she was like, oh, good thing you didn't take a video of that. And I was like, well, to be honest, it would actually be really good if I took a video of this one to show people where you're starting and then where you could end up in 3 months time. Like this, that would actually be, I would rather take a video of this now than just show people what you're already really good at. Like this, it would be much better for other people and for yourself. So if you're starting out now, you will never, ever, 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 ever again be at this place. And don't not take a video for fear of being embarrassed. You should take a video for the opportunity to show how far you've come. It's one thing to tell the story. It's another thing to show the story. And showing it is really, really powerful.
Absolutely. I would consume basically nothing on social media. I wouldn't be looking at what other coaches are doing. I wouldn't be consuming other people in the industry on short form stuff. I would be reading. I'd be reading books. I'd be reading research reviews. And that would be, if you want to sliver off some consumption for entertainment purposes, cool. But the overwhelming majority of what I'm putting in my brain is making me smarter at being a personal trainer. And I would also, in addition to making content, I'd be aggressive early on with, you know what, this actually kind of contradicts what I just said. So I don't know if I would do this, but thinking of the $1.80 strategy and thinking of engaging with other people's content or comments or groups, early on, winning people over one-on-one by helping them in a comment, helping them in a DM, helping them in a free 15-minute phone call is going to be so beneficial, especially when it's harder to get eyeballs on your content early on. And so I guess we'll call this one helping as many people one-on-one for free as you can. And not just for like a day or a week or a month, but for 3 to 5 years or longer or forever.
The only thing I wouldn't even say disagree, is I would take a slightly different take on, is I would still consume even short form content from other people, only as a way just to get an idea of what other people are doing and give yourself new ideas. In the same way that when I was writing articles and you were writing articles, like I was reading other people's articles and I was like looking at different formatting they were using, and it helped me come up with ideas for that. And I think with social media, the difference is I would put a time limit on it, like no more than 15 minutes a day. And when you go on, you find accounts, you maybe like go in your search bar, you search them, you have them there, you look at those accounts, you look at what they're doing, then you're off. You're not just mindlessly scrolling, but you have to think of it as your job is market research. Like that's your job. And like, you're going to go in, you're going to see what the creators are doing that you want to emulate. You look at it and then you're off, but you're not just mindlessly scrolling.
That's it. It's the creators you want to emulate. You're not following 100 random people to do follow for follow and like for like and have these like 25-person DM groups where you engage with each other's content that supposedly, I don't know if they still exist. They used to exist.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
I would pick 3 people or 5 people who I think are doing a really good job. Because when you say I used to read articles, I would read articles to see what other people are doing, but it was the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't, you know, if I was looking at someone who is putting out the weekly roundups of everyone in the industry, there's a bunch of people's names who I'm never clicking on that list because I already know that I don't want to, like, I'm picking people who I specifically want to be learning from. I'm not letting it all in. Yeah. And it's obviously been a while since I was really creating consistently, but when I was, I almost got lost in noise, and we got a hard stop here in a couple minutes, but I almost got lost in the noise of like consuming too much bad fitness content that made me worse creating. So I wouldn't want to see any of that. I would just want to see the best of the best. Cool. And then I would want enough room to put my own spin on things and like be creative rather than see all this stuff that I didn't want infiltrating my mind.
I completely agree. I also think that, for example, those like weekly roundups, there would be like 20 different people often, and you could go in and skim 20 of them and not really learn much. But if you went to 3 of them and you spent an hour studying each of those, of the really high quality cream, you could learn so much just from studying one intently, studying their writing style, studying how they presented it, how they formatted it, studying how they shot. Maybe they embedded videos within the article at that time. Like, you can learn much more, and sort of bring this to today's day and age. Like, you could go to one person's Instagram profile and spend an hour just going through not only their current content, but their former content, their previous content. How have they set up their Instagram page? How are they shooting things? How are they cutting things? What are they using as a title? What are they doing in their captions? You could learn so much more from studying one person than you could from studying 20 people, just lightly. Study one person or 2 people or 3 people really intently, rather than studying many people lightly.
Boom. Great episode. We'll be back next week. Fitness Business Mentorship Black Friday sale coming up. You can apply at fitnessbusinessmentorship.com around the 2nd, 3rd week of November, and we'll get that rolling.
That's it. Have a wonderful week. Talk to you soon.